All right, everybody. So it's been 2 days since Free Comic Book Day, and I went in there and I grabbed the most interesting ones because they had the usual comics, the Spider Mans and all that kind of stuff. But there was a couple of comics that were different and caught my attention, of course. So here's what I'm looking at. So first one is obviously this Energon universe. So Skybound, which is Image, they rebooted GI Joe and Transformers since Hasbro sold the IP, and this is their attempt to advertise both. And it is the first combination comic of GI Joe and Transformers. And what was really interesting about it is that when you looked inside the comic, Matt Tracker is in here for Mask. Now they kept the same design as Matt Tracker from IDW, so they definitely liked it. So it looks like we will start seeing Mask in the Energon universe, which is pretty awesome because we're all pretty sure it was just going to be GI Joe and Transformers. So now we're going to have Mask slowly incorporated. Now next one is going to be Gargoyles. So Gargoyles actually has some interesting things about it. And the first thing is that obviously, in case anyone wants to know, Dynamite is Disney. They stopped. They don't want their Disney brands to be in the Marvel category, so they made Dynamite for Disney properties, which is really weird. But I guess good for them using Dynamite for something. So Gargoyles, they're advertising Gargoyles on Free Comic Book Day, which is kind of unusual because that's not the property I thought they would have picked, but Gargoyles is rumored to have a live action in the works, and they've actually been experimenting with bringing back the brand because they were making toys with NECA, which was selling very, very well, and NECA put them on hold for whatever reason. I'm assuming it's a contract dispute or something. But the Gargoyles comic is very good. It actually takes place right after your original cartoon. So fingers crossed they do something more with this because the original creator is involved in this franchise. So maybe we'll get more Gargoyles, maybe we won't. Who knows? They had a couple of comics for technically dead IPs, which really threw me off. Like one of them was King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. I did not pick that one up. But in case anyone really wants to recognize it, that is this cartoon right here. So King Arthur and the Knights of Justice, they had the animated cartoon. They also had Super Nintendo game. Well, Sega game. No, I think it was Super Nintendo. Whatever. They had a game on the 16-bit systems, and then that was pretty much it. It's pretty much been a dormant IP for the last like 30 years, and they've never really done anything with it. So the fact that we have a Free Comic Book Day comic with it just shows me that the IP must have traded hands, and now they're trying to revive the property, which is pretty cool. Now the next one that is this one, Thundercats and Powerpuff Girls. Now Thundercats, they've been trying to revive Thundercats for a pretty hot minute, but Mattel is actually doing He-Man Thundercat collabs now, which is pretty neat. I know they've tried to redo Thundercats twice already, so I guess they're gonna try to redo another Thundercats, which is pretty awesome. But Powerpuff Girls is the one that intrigues me here because I don't remember anything being in the works for Powerpuff Girls. So now we have Powerpuff Girls, which is pretty cool. I mean, it might just be a little fun little gimmick they made, like a little fun crossover. But who knows? Who knows? I'm pretty sure that Powerpuff Girls and Thundercats are both owned by Time Warner now. So maybe we'll get something from both. Maybe we won't. Who knows? And here's one of my favorites. Mega Man from Capcom. So if anyone knows what's going on with Mega Man, the original creator for Mega Man left Capcom a while ago. And because of that, we've gotten no new Mega Man games at all. But we've gotten some Mega Man re-releases because of it. So I mean, it's some losses, some positives, and all that. So the only Mega Mans that we're missing is the Legends. Everything else has pretty much been put into collections for the most part. And if you look through the comic, which is pretty much in the same style as the Archie comics. So I have to look it up, and I think they might have gotten the same artist, which is pretty cool if they did. Because the Archie Mega Man comics is really good. And I would always recommend it. So when I looked towards the back of it, what really caught my eye was this. Yeah, they're advertising a comic for every type of Mega Man for the most part. So you got Mega Man, you got Mega Man X, you got Mega Man Zero, Mega Man ZX. In the very bottom, Mega Man Legends. That's that series we never got into a collection. But everything else on this list has gotten collections. So fingers crossed we actually get that. And it looks like they're actually advertising Mega Man stuff. So, I don't know. Maybe Capcom is actually making a big push to bring Mega Man back. Because if they are, that is amazing. I would really, really appreciate having Mega Man back in my life. Because Mega Man's a phenomenal franchise. And you can keep making those games forever. Like, it's just really good. So hopefully this comic was good enough, and then the other Mega Man sell good enough to where Capcom actually wants to do it. And of course, I included this one because I thought it was hysterical. I've seen this one for months on like Twitter and whatnot, but he's a pen. He's a pen. It's just a little fun gag comic, which is pretty cool because it just shows that Skybound is actually branching out of the series Transformers, and they're also making non-series Transformers. And the style they're making it in is pretty awesome because it reminds me of IDW. So IDW used to make series comics and gag comics, so it's pretty cool that we're going to start getting gag comics again. Now, for the final two, this one, Street Fighter versus Rival Schools. So obviously this is coming out because the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is coming out soon. And Rival Schools is on that. So this entire comic is an advertisement for that game in a sense. And of course, you know, it's just typical Udon style and all of that. It's fairly decent, you know. I'm not sure if they're going to do more Rival School comics. I kind of hope they do, because that'd be pretty awesome. But you never know. You never know. I didn't really check to see if it was in the future for Udon, but knowing them, anything's possible. And this is the one that caught my attention the most. They actually had a Gundam comic at Free Comic Book Day. So, Gundam, $1 billion company, one of Bandai's bread and butters, but not famous in the United States. And if you look at the top logo, that's actually one of the toy company logos, which is pretty neat. Tamashii Nations. And this is Gundam Wing, which is their most popular IP they had in the West during the late 90s, early 2000s. And of course, you got your typical like Gunpla and all that kind of stuff. So, first thing I've noticed is I went through it, and it is the first episode of Gundam Wing. Almost panel for panel, word for word. The art style is it's kind of crude if you look at it. It's kind of crude. It's definitely different from what I'm used to seeing in like Japanese mangas and whatnot. And I thought it was just American made, but when I looked at it, this American comic is strictly Japanese made. Everyone involved in this except for no, I take it back. Everyone involved in it but the artist. Okay, so the artist is American, but everything else. Okay, never mind. I take it back. That's my own fault. I really thought it was different. So, yeah, they redid the first episode of Gundam Wing. And what's really interesting about this is that it's the 30th anniversary, which, you know, they've done 30th anniversaries for a bunch of things, but they've never really done a big push for the American audience. So I don't know if this is just their way of saying, hey, we're going to release more Gunpla and more advertisements, or if they're going to actually do something like different, or if they're building up to something. Not really sure. I didn't see anything Gundam Wing on the horizon for them. And I know they released some Gundam mangas not that long ago, and I thought that's what they were gonna do. So who knows? Maybe we will get comic books, maybe we won't. But it's really interesting that Bandai would pick Gundam Wing instead of the most recent Gundam by the guy that did Evangelion. So that's pretty interesting that they're gonna make this push to Western audiences since it was the most popular Gundam that ever showed up in the US. So yeah, Free Comic Book Day had some pretty interesting scenarios and bangers in there. And if you just read between the lines, we might get more out of this. We'll see. They're testing the waters. So hopefully, if you guys read any of these comics, let me know how you feel about them. Because for the most part, I'm enjoying them. I haven't read them all, and I've seen some pretty interesting stuff. The only one I really want is that King Arthur and the Knights of Justice / Princess Gilmore or whatever it is. But I'm sure I'll find that thing eventually. All right, everybody. Harry here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And peace. I appreciate it. And have a good day.